10th Standard History, 5th Lesson, Social and Religious Reform Movements in the 19th century. The reform movements in the 19th century in the dominated of religion fall under two broad categories, that is reformist movements and revivalist movements. The reformist movements like Brahma Samaj, Prarthana Samaj and Aligarh movement. So in the reformist movement there were the three Samaj, that is Prarthana Samaj, Brahma Samaj and Aligarh movement. Then come to the revivalist movement. Under the revivalist movement like Arya Samaj, Ramakrishna Mission and Deoband movements. So under the revivalist movement there were the three Samaj, that is Arya Samaj, Ramakrishna Mission and Deoband movement. Apart from these movements there were the oppressive social structure ran by Jyotiba Phule in Pune, Narayana Guru and Ayyan Kali in Kerala, and Ramalinga Adigal and Ayothi Dasar of Tamil Nadu. Now we'll see one by one movement. Now first we'll see about reformist movement. Raja Ram Mohan Rai and Brahma Samaj. Raja Ram Mohan Rai was one of the earlier reformers influenced by the Western ideas to initiate reforms. He was a great scholar, well versed in Sanskrit, Arabic, Persian, and English. Apart from his knowledge in his mother tongue, Bengali, so he knew there were many languages like Arabic, Sanskrit, Persian, English, and also he was well versed in his mother tongue, Bengali. Rajaram Mohan Rai was opposed to meaningless religious ceremonies and all forms of harmful social structures. So he opposed the religious ceremonies and also harmful social customs. In his religious, philosophical, social outlook, he was deeply influenced by monotheism and anti-idolatry. Monotheism, it means worship one God, and anti-idolatry. She was against the idol worship. Then he opposed customs of sati, child marriage, and polygamy. Polygamy, it means more one wife or more one husband. So he opposed the customs of sati, child marriage, and polygamy. He advocated the rights of widows to remarry. So he encouraged widows' remarriage. He wanted to polygamy to end. So he did not accept the polygamy. Due to the efforts of Rajaram Mohan Rai, Governor General William Bentinck's legislation abolishing sati in 1829. So due to the great efforts of Rajaram Mohan Rai, Lord William Bentinck abolished sati in 1829. Rajaram Mohan Rai condemned the control or domination of women by men, and also women were inferior to men. It was opposed by Rajaram Mohan Rai. He strongly advocated education for women. He gave his full support for the introduction of English language and Western science in schools and colleges. So he opposed child marriage, he encouraged widow remarriage, and he encouraged education for women and introductions of the English language and also Western science. He emphasized about Western science in schools and colleges. Rajaram Mohan Rai founded the Brahma Samaj on August 20, 1828. He opened a temple in Calcutta where there was no image. The Samaj opposed idol worship and condemned meaningless religious rites and ceremonies. In the reformist movement, first we have seen about Rajaram Mohan Roy. Next to the Rajaram Mohan Roy, Maharishi Debendranath Tagore. Maharishi Debendranath Tagore was the father of Rabindranath Tagore. He emphasized about God. So he said about he framed the four articles. That is, first point, in the beginning there was nothing. The one supreme being alone existed who created the universe. It means God is the creator of everywhere or everything. God is the creator of everything and also God is the creator of universe. Second point, He alone is the God of truth, infinite wisdom, etc. It means he gave importance to God. That is, God is the truth, infinite wisdom, godness, power, and eternal omnipresent, the one without second. So, the God is everything. He said about the God is the supreme power of the world. Second, third one, our salvation depends on belief in Him and His worship in this world and the next. That is, our deliverance from sins depends on belief in Him and His worship in this world and also next world. Then fourth point, belief consists in loving Him and doing His will. This is what said by Debendranath Tagore about the God in four articles. In the reformist movement, third reformer is Keshav Chandra Sen and Brahma Samaj of India. So we are going to see about Keshav Chandra Sen in this part. Keshav Chandra Sen in 1838 to 84 joined the movement in 1857. So his year was 1838 to 84, but he joined in the movement in 1857. But in 1866, a split occurred in the Brahma Samaj. So Keshav Chandra Sen left the Samaj and founded a new organization that is known as Debendranath Organization. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. That is, in the reformist movement, the reformer is Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. Another outstanding reformer in Bengal was Ishwara Chandra Vidyasagar. While Ram Mohan Roy, that is Raja Ram Mohan Roy, and others looked to Western nationalist ideas to reform society. Vidyasagar followed the Hindu scriptures. He provided evidence from scriptures that there was no sanction for burning of widows or for the prohibition of the remarriage of widows. That is, Vidyasagar said in the Hindu scriptures they did not mention about the burning of widows and also prohibition of the remarriage of widows. So in the Hindu scripture they did not explain anything about the sati and also that is prohibition burning of widows. Sati, it means burning of widows, and also for the prohibition of the remarriage of widows. He played a leading role in promoting education of girls and helped them in setting up a number of schools. So he promoted education for the girls and also he started many schools for the girls. He dedicated his whole life for the betterment of child widows of the Hindu society. So he worked for the small girls who were widows in that time. For those people he worked for. That is by Ishwara Chandra Vidyasagar. He emphasized about the betterment of the child widows. That is in those time, that very early time, the children got ladies, small children, not ladies, small children got married, and sometime the peoples were, that is small children were widows. So he opposed, that is for the early marriage. The movement led by Vidyasagar resulted in the Widows' Remarriage Reform Act of 1856. So he started the movement, that is for the Widows' Remarriage Reform Act of 1856. This act insisted to improve the lot of child widows and save them from conditional widowhood. So he relieved the child, he worked for the relieving of child widows and conditional widowhood. Under the reformist movement, next one is Prarthana Samaj. It was founded by Dr. Atmaram Panduranga. A movement similar to the Brahma Samaj, founded in Bombay in 1867. The two distinguished members of this Samaj were R.C. Bandarkar and Justice Mahadev Govind Ranade. They devoted themselves to activities such as intercaste dining, intercaste marriage, widow remarriage, and improvement of women and depressed classes. So R.C. Bandarkar and Justice Mahadev Govind Ranade worked for the intercaste dining, intercaste marriage, widow remarriage, and improvement of women and depressed classes. Ranade was the founder of Widow Marriage Association and Purna Sarvajanik Sabha, Pune Sarvajanik Sabha, and the Deccan Education Society. So three of that were founded by Ranade. Under the Hindu reform religious movement, second division is Hindu revivalisms. Under Hindu revivalism, Swami Dayananda Saraswati and Arya Samaj, we are going to see in this part. The Arya Samaj was founded by Swami Dayananda Saraswati. Swami Dayananda Saraswati opposed the practices such as child marriage and prohibition of widow remarriage. So he opposed the practice for the child marriage and prohibition of the widow remarriage. The positive principles of Dayananda Saraswati were strict monotheism. It means only one God. He emphasized about to follow, that is only one God, called as monotheism. Condemnation of idolatry, that is idol worship, he opposed, and rejection of Brahman domination, and also he opposed to the dominated by the Brahmins of rituals and social practices. He also rejected the superstitious beliefs in Hinduism, and his cry was go back to Vedas. It means his cry was go back to Vedas. It means he propagated the true knowledge of Vedas. So he insisted the people to go back to Vedas. It means he said the people to follow the Vedas. Arya Samaj to check the incidence of religious conversions in British India. Under the revivalist movement, we are going to see about the next reformer is Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Ramakrishna, a simple priest of Dakneshwar Kali temple near Kolkata. So he worked in the Dakneshwar Kali temple in the Kolkata, and he emphasized the spiritual union with God through doing practices such as singing bhajans. So he emphasized to do the people to singing bhajans to get through the doing practices of God. and deep worshipper of goddess Kali, the sacred mother. He declared that fact of the divine mother were infinite. That is, he said about the God is the fact is that is infinite. He said Jiva is Siva. All living beings are God. So he said about the people, all living beings are God. He considered all living beings as God. So he said that is Jiva is Siva. So, service for man must be regarded as God. If we do the service for the people, definitely it will be the regarded as the God. Now about Ramakrishna mission. Ramakrishna's primary achievement was his ability to attract educated youth, which were dissatisfied with the religious reform organizations such as Brahma Samaj. After his death in 1886, his disciples spreaded his teachings in India and abroad. The chief spirit behind this task was Vivekananda. Vivekananda established the Ramakrishna mission, which did not restrict itself to religious activities. So, Ramakrishna mission did not restrict the religious activities but was actively involved in social causes such as education, health care, and relief in times of calamities. So, Ramakrishna Mission involved in the activities like for improvement of education, health care, and relief in times of calamities. Under the revivalist reform movement, reformer is Swami Vivekananda, Narendra Nath Datta. Later he was known as Swami Vivekananda, the prime follower of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. An educated youth, he was drawn to Ramakrishna's message. So he was an educated person and he explained the Ramakrishna's message. Dissatisfied about the believed theoretical positions and practices, he advocated the practical Vedanta of service to humanity. So he emphasized about the Vedanta to the if the people follows the Vedas, it is service to the humanity. He emphasized a cultural nationalism and made a call to Indian youth to regenerate Hindu society. He wanted to regenerate the Hindu society by the Indian youth. His ideas spread a sense of self confidence among Indians who felt inferior in relation to the materialistic achievements of the West. Whoever had the inferior complex with the Western people, he emphasized to not to have like that type of the inferioritisms with the Western peoples. He encouraged the Indians to have the self confidence. He became famous for his addresses on Hinduism at the 1893 World Congress of Religion in Chicago. So, when he in the World Congress of Religions in Chicago in 1893, his speech was famous. Vivekananda's activities ideology relight the desire for political change among many Western education youth Bengalis. So he related the life of the Western education by the of the young Bengalis. Many of the youths who were involved in the militant nationalist struggle during the Svetesi movement following the partition of Bengal were inspired by Vivekananda. When the partition of Bengal occurred in 1911, during that time, the youth people have followed the Vivekananda speech. Under the revivalist movement, next movement is Theosophical movement. It was founded by Madam H.B. Blavatsky and Colonel H.S. Olcott. Founded in the USA in 1875, later it shifted to India at Adayar in Chennai in 1886. Theosophical Society encouraged a study of Hindu classics, especially of Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita. So, Theosophical Society gave importance to the Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita. Thus, Theosophical Society also played an important role in the revival of Buddhism in India. Western interest in Hindu scriptures gave educated Hindus great pride in their tradition and culture. Next, under the revivalist movement, reformer is Dr. Annie Besant. In India, the movement became further popular with the election of Annie Besant as its president after the death of Olcott. She played a role in Indian nationalist politics and formed the Home Rule League, demanding home rule to India. So she worked for to get the Home Rule League in India. Annie Besant spread theosophical ideas through her newspapers called New India and Commonweal. She started the newspaper which is called as New India and Commonweal. Through that she emphasized about the theosophical ideas. Now about we are going to see about anti-caste movement. In the previous we have seen about reformist movement and revivalist movement. Third movement which is called as anti-caste movement. Now under the anti-caste movement we are going to see about Jyotiba Phule. Jyotiba Govinda Rao Phule was born in 1827 in Maharashtra. He opened the first school for untouchables in 1852. Untouchable, it means like lower class people in Pune. He launched the Satya Sodak Samaj, that is Truth Seeker Society. Satya Sodak Samaj means Truth Seekers Society in 1872 to give self-respect to the non-Brahmins people. Phule opposed child marriage and support widow remarriage. Jyotiba and his wife Savitri Phule devoted their lives for the upliftment of the depressed class and the women. Jyotiba opened orphanage and homes for widow. So he opposed to child marriage and encouraged widow remarriage, and also he supported to the depressed classes people and women, and also he encouraged the orphans and the home for he started the home for widows and the orphanage, and also he encouraged the orphanage or support to the orphanage. Now about Narayana Guru under anti-caste movement. Narayana Guru born to poor parents in Kerala. Narayana Guru evolved into a poet and scholar in Malayalam, Tamil and Sanskrit. Disturbed by the terrible caste system and the lower caste people suffered. He dedicated his whole life for the betterment of the suppressed people. That is, he worked for the terrible caste people. He worked for the lower caste people and he worked for the caste problems to solve this. And he set up the Sri Narayana Dharma Paribalana Yogam, an organization to work for the uplift of the depressed classes. He organized the organization or he started the organization which is called as Sri Narayana Dharma Paripalana Yogam. So this organization is to work for the depressed classes people. He established a grand temple at Arivipuram and dedicated it to all. This temple is for even for the lower class people. Thinkers and writers such as Kumaran Asan and Dr. Palpu were influenced by his ideas and carried forward the movement. After the death of the Narayana Guru, Kumaran Asan and Dr. Palpu worked to develop the Sri Narayana Dharma Paribalana Yogam to uplift for the lower class people or the depressed class people. Ayyan Kali was born in 1863 at Venganur in Trivandrum or Thiruvananthapuram. He saw there was a caste discrimination in the society, so he wanted to work for to abolish this caste discrimination, and he started the anti-caste movement and who later fought for basic rights including access to public spaces and entry to school. Inspired by Sri Narayana Guru, Ayyan Kali founded the Sadhu Jana Paribalana Sangam, that is the Association for the Protections of the Poor, in 1907. So he started the Sadhu Jana Paribalana Sangam. It means this is works for the Association for the Protections of the Poor People in 1907. Now about Islamic reforms. After the suppression of Great Revolt of 1857, the Indian Muslims looked to Western culture with suspicion. The community feared that Western education, Western culture, and Western ideas would endanger their religion. Therefore, only a small sections of Muslims accepted a new method of modern education. So, after in the 1857 revolt, people in the Indian Muslims started to think about the Western education, Western culture, and Western ideas were the endangered to their religion. So, some of the people did not accept the Western education, Western culture, Western ideas, but some of the people accepted the new methods for modern education. Now about Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. He born in Delhi into a noble Muslim family. Sir Syed Ahmad Khan thought that lack of education, especially modern education, had harmed the Muslims greatly and kept them backward. So Syed Ahmad Khan, what he thought that the people did not have the education and also did not have modern education. Because of that only the people were at the backward. So he wanted to encourage the Muslims to get the modern education. He advised the Muslims to accept modern science and take up government services. He encouraged the Muslims to get the Western education and also to take up the government services. He founded a scientific society and translated many English books, especially science books, into Urdu. So he translated the science books into in the Urdu language, and also he encouraged the Muslims to get the Western education and also the government services. Aligarh movement. Syed Ahmad Khan's movement known as Aligarh movement. Why? Because it was centered around the Aligarh Mohammedan Anglo Oriental College. So he started the Aligarh movement is so called because it was centered around the Aligarh Mohammedan Anglo Oriental College founded by him in 1875, which is the landmark in the history of Indian Muslims education. The college was raised to the status of a university in 1920. He started the Aligarh movement and also he started the Aligarh Mohammedan Anglo Oriental College in 1875 to encourage the Indian Muslims, and also it had the status in 1920 as the university. Deoband movement. Deoband was a revivalist movement organized by the Orthodox Muslim ulama. The ulama, under the leadership of Muhammad Qasim Vanotavi and Rashid Ahmad Gangotri, founded the school at Deoband in the Uttar Pradesh in 1866. The school curriculum shut out English education and Western culture. So in the Deoband school, they shut out they stopped the English education and Western culture. The instruction was followed in original Islamic religion. So in the Deoband school, they gave importance to the original Islamic religion, and the aim was moral and religious regeneration of Muslim community. Maulana Muhammad Al Hassan became the new Deoband leader. The Jamiatul Ul Ulama, led by him, gave a strong shape to Hassan's ideas of protections of the religious and political rights of the Muslims. Now about Farsi reform movement. In the middle of the 19th century, the reform activities began in Mumbai. Furdun Ji Nauroji founded the Parsis Reform Society in 1857. Rast Goftar was the main voice of the movement. Rasi Goftar raised his voice of the movement. Behramji Malabari organized a campaign for legislation against the practice of child marriage. So they opposed in the movement, Parsis reform movement opposed the child marriage. The community produced many leaders such as Feroz Shah Mehta and Deen Shah Vacha played a big role in the early Congress. Sixth reform movement, Nirankaris and Namdaris. Baba Dayal Das was the founder of the Nirankari movement, and he encouraged the God as the Nirankar, that is formless, and also he objected the idol worship and the unnecessary rituals. Guru Nanak and the Adi Granth formed the essence of his teachings. He emphasized the prohibition on meat eating and liquor consumptions. So he opposed the prohibitions of the meat eating and liquor consumptions. The Namdari movement, founded by Baba Ram Singh, was another socio-religious movement among the Sikhs. The Namdari insisted on wearing the symbols of Sikhism except the kirpan. It means sword. Instead of Baba Ram Singh wanted his followers to carry a lati. So the first previous one, the people had the sword, but these people had the lati. It considered both men and women equal and accepted the widow remarriage. So in their community they accepted the widow remarriage, and also they considered both men and women are equal. They prohibited the dowry system and child marriage. With the support of British, it established Khalsa College for Sikhs in Amritsar. So in the British period itself, they started the Khalsa College, name of the college, for the Sikhs peoples in the Amritsar. Social reformers of Tamil Nadu, under that Ramalinga Adigal. He was known as Vallalar. Ramalinga Adigal or Ramalinga Swamigal was born in Marudur, a village near Sidambaram. After his father's death, he moved to his brother's house at Chennai. Ramalinga emphasized the bonds of responsibility and compassion. Showed mercy, compassion, it means showed mercy between the living beings. He expressed the view that those who lack compassion or mercy for suffering beings are hot-hearted, their wisdom clouded. It means those who did not have the mercy on the living things, that their heart will be darkened. He showed his compassions and mercy on living beings, including plants. Thus, this he called Jiva Karunya. So he showed his mercy on living things, including plants, which is called as Jiva Karunya, said by Ramalinga Adigal. He established the Samarasa Vedanta Veda Sanmarka Sangam in 1865, and it was renamed by Samarasa Sutta Sanmarka Satya Sangha, which means Society for Pure Truth in Universal Selfhood. So he started Veda Sanmarka Sangam in 1865, which is renamed as Samarasa Sutta Sanmarka Satya Sangam. It means Society for Pure Truth in Universal Selfhood. Ramalinga also established the free feeding house for everyone, irrespective of caste at Vadalur. So he provided food for everyone, even any other all the caste, in 1867, in the wake up of a terrible famine in South India in 1866. His numerous songs were compiled and published under the title Thiruvarutpa. So he sung many songs. That songs which is compiled as known as Thiruvarutpa. Ayothi Dasar. He was the social reformer of Tamil Nadu. He was a radical Tamil scholar, writer, chitta medical practitioner, journalist, and socio-political activist. He born in Chennai and he was fluent in Tamil, English, Sanskrit, and Pali language. He worked for the untouchables and also casteless society. He considered education is an important tool, and he worked for the empowerment of the people to establishment of the several schools for the untouchables in Tamil Nadu. Pandita Ayothi Dasar founded the Advaitananda Sabha to raise the voice for the temple entry of the untouchables. So in that time people were discriminated. So lower class people couldn't enter in the temples. So he started the Advaitananda Sabha to raise the voice for the entry of the untouchables. In 1882, John Rathinam and Ayothi Dasar established a movement called Dravida Kalagam and launched a magazine called Dravida Pandian in 1885. So Ayothi Dasar and Jyoti Ratnam established the movement. That movement which is called as Dravida Kalagam in 1885, and also they started the English paper that is Dravida Pandian. And he founded the Dravida Mahajana Sabha in 1891 and organized the first conference of association at Nilgiris. Pandita Ayothi Dasar was disappointed with the Hindu Dharma. He did not encourage the Hindu Dharma while served as the basis of the propagating and validating caste in Hindu society. Why they did not encourage the Hindu Dharma? Because in the Hindu Dharma they opposed to them, that is they encouraged the caste, Hindu caste, influenced by the theosophical organizer Colonel H. Alcott. He went to Sri Lanka in 1898 and finally he converted to Buddhism. In the same year, he founded the Sakya Buddhist Society at Madras and to construct the rational religious philosophy through Buddhist religions. He started a weekly journal, Oru Paisa Tamilan, in 1907 and published it until his demise, that is until the death of him in 1914.